So I just got off the phone with a seller and we were talking about a number of things. We were talking about timing, the fact that they were going to get their house painted. We provided them with a painting contractor. We were talking about a staging consult and about repairs following a pre-inspection, because we never want to have surprises when we list something. We were also talking about the fact that while we're sending them a listing agreement to sign, we're not putting a price in yet. And he said, this is such a thoughtful process. This is such an inclusive process that addresses every single thing that could mitigate a disaster after we go under contract. He said, do all of your clients know that you do this for your listings? And I thought, well, wait a second. Maybe I should make a video that explains to you, if you're a seller, exactly what our process is, so that you understand that my job is to both make you feel heard and to get you the most money in the shortest period of time with the least interruptions as I possibly can as your listing brokers. The first thing that generally happens in a listing is that you call me and you say, Bunny, I'm thinking about selling my house. And you may say, I'm going to talk to 4 realtors. Would you come out and be one of those? And I'm always happy to do that. I think it's one of the smartest things you can do. It's like buying a car. You wouldn't just go to one car dealership or to one place to get a loan. I think you ought to shop around. People will tell me that they're going to talk to several realtors. We'll make an appointment. I will come out. I will never be that realtor who says, listen, you don't even need to call the next person. I'll call them for you and I'll cancel that appointment. I think it's important for you to talk to several realtors. I think that this is a really personal and a really emotional time for sellers. So be sure that you find somebody you feel comfortable with, because I'm telling you, it's like getting married when you're doing a listing, and you want to be sure that you trust and understand everything that your listing broker says to you. The next thing that will happen, we'll do all the standard stuff. We'll walk through the house. I'll ask you what you feel is the coolest thing about living where you live. What's the hardest thing? We'll go over our plan, which is one of the things that we provide to our listing clients is a pre-inspection at our cost. We provide a staging consultation at our cost. We don't pay for staging, but a staging consultation will include seeing how many of your own furnishings are going to work to present your house in its best possible life. If it's going to be empty, then the staging consultation will include a full staging. But we'll talk about pre-inspection. We'll talk about a staging consultation. We'll talk about what you may need to do. We'll walk through the house and I'll say, you know what? Your dogs and your kids have marked up the walls over here. Let's get a painter out here to give you an estimate. We'll walk through the yards to see what sort of yard work and trimming you might need to do. And then we'll create a calendar, and we'll be very careful to follow your calendar. The client I just talked to, they're buying a house elsewhere. They're closing next week. They're still packing. Once they're done packing, the painter is going to come. The painter that we recommended, that gave them a great quote, is going to come and do the painting. While that painting is being done, we'll have a staging consultation. We're laying it out so that between today, which is the day when you decide you want to talk to a realtor, and the day you go live on the market, the entire process is as seamless and easy to understand as possible. Maybe you're somebody who got a job offer and you're having to move quickly, and you need somebody to get your house on the market next Thursday. We can do that. It's not our preferred method, but I have an entire team in place that can go through all of the processes and get you as ready as possible before we go live on the market. We want to be very, 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 very thorough when we do this. If you have a realtor who comes out to your house and says, oh yeah, we can get this on the market in a hurry, no problem. I can take a few photos with my iPhone to get us started, and then we'll come back later and, we may virtually stage. Be careful, because those realtors are not thinking about what you need as much as they're thinking about how quickly they can get one more listing on the market to make them look good. My job as your listing broker is to make your house look good and to make your experience seamless, and to do as much risk mitigation ahead of time as I can. So if you're curious about how the process works, you're curious about how my team and I work, and you're curious about the way to get the most money for your home in the shortest time possible, but in the most logical fashion possible, feel free to give me a call. We're always here to help.